Ethan Marcellus, a reclusive millionaire known for his sharp business mind and colder-than-ice reputation, had only two soft spots in his entire world: his 4-year-old twin daughters, Lily and Lila, who were born prematurely and had battled weakness since their first breath. No one in the city had ever seen Ethan smile, but the moment he stepped into the nursery each night, watching his girls sleep with their tiny hands tucked beneath their chins, something inside him melted in silence. For years, he had spent fortunes on doctors, specialists, treatments, therapies, private hospitals, anything that could help his daughters grow strong. Yet despite the army of professionals around them, the twins remained painfully fragile, always tired, always pale, always sick with something invisible no one could name. Ethan, who could buy entire medical departments if he wished, found himself helpless every time he saw his daughters cough, stumble, or fall asleep in his arms like wilted flowers. He hid his fear behind power, his exhaustion behind money, and his heartbreak behind an unbreakable image. That, everyone believed, was the whole truth. But truth rarely fits neatly into the world of the rich, and fate had its own plans the day a young nanny named Alina Reyes walked into the Marcellus mansion for the first time. Alina was not like the polished, robotic professionals Ethan had hired before. She was gentle, observant, and carried the type of warmth that came from a life where every smile had been earned, not purchased. She noticed small things others dismissed: the way the twins leaned onto one another for balance, the tiny tremor in their fingers, the unusual sensitivity to light, and the way their eyes always seemed a little unfocused, as if the world around them was too overwhelming. Her first week in the mansion was quiet. Ethan barely spoke, and the girls kept their distance, unsure of this new adult in their world. But Alina had a talent every child recognized instantly: she listened before she spoke. And slowly, the twins blossomed around her. Within days, they began to smile more, play more, laugh more, something no medicine had ever achieved. One night, while reading them a bedtime story, Alina felt the odd thumping of their hearts, slightly off rhythm, not dangerous but strange. Doctors had scanned the twins tirelessly, testing everything, yet this tiny detail struck Alina like a whisper from her past. Her younger brother had suffered from something similar when she was little, and no doctor had noticed until she pointed it out. That memory, long buried, returned with a painful clarity. As weeks passed, Ethan began noticing the difference too. The twins spoke more, clung less to their inhalers, and some days even ran without stumbling. The entire mansion vibrated with new life, and for the first time in years, hope dared to enter Ethan's guarded heart. One evening, after finishing a global finance meeting, he paused near the playroom door, watching Alina kneel on the carpet as the twins draped stethoscopes around her neck, pressing toy medical tools on her back while she laughed with her eyes closed. And at that moment, something broke open inside Ethan: gratitude, longing, a strange warmth he had forgotten how to feel. He murmured, almost to himself, "I love this moment," but the moment was fleeting, because behind the joy lived the same unsolved mystery: why were his daughters sick when every doctor in the world had cleared them? One night, while Alina tucked the girls into bed, she noticed a pattern. Whenever the girls spent long hours in the east side of the mansion, they became weak, coughing more, struggling to catch their breath. But when she took them outside, into fresh air, or even to the play area in the West Wing, their symptoms eased dramatically. Something clicked inside her. An old documentary she once watched about household toxins flashed through her mind. She rushed to Ethan's study, hesitated only a second, then pushed open the door. Ethan looked up from his laptop, surprised but not angry. It was the first time someone had entered without knocking. Alina, her voice trembling yet firm, explained everything: the heartbeat irregularities, the light sensitivity, the sudden weakness in the East Wing. "I think it's not their bodies failing them," she said softly. "I think something in this house is making them sick." Ethan froze. For a moment, he said nothing, then burst into a controlled fury. Not at Alina, but at the sheer impossibility of her claim. He had spent millions ensuring the mansion was the safest environment possible. But Alina neither backed down nor raised her voice. "You've hired experts to look at the children," she whispered, "but no one has checked the house." The silence that followed was heavy, almost suffocating. Ethan finally exhaled, closed his laptop, and nodded. Within an hour, environmental specialists were scanning the mansion. At dawn, the results came, and the truth hit Ethan harder than any financial loss ever could. The antique East Wing, renovated by a historic firm, had used old insulation filled with microtoxins, harmless to adults but catastrophic for children with developing lungs. No doctor had ever considered environmental poisoning. The twins weren't sick. They were being slowly poisoned in their own home. Ethan felt his chest tighten, guilt crushing him from all directions. He had invited the world's best doctors into his life, but the real danger had been hidden behind the walls he trusted. When the team explained that long-term exposure caused symptoms exactly like the twins had shown, Ethan sank into a chair, burying his face in his hands. The house that was meant to protect them had been harming them, and he had never seen it, because he was too busy searching for solutions outside. It was Alina, the modest nanny with no wealth, no medical degree, but a heart full of intuition, who had uncovered what billions could not. As the East Wing was sealed and stripped down, Ethan spent nights sitting beside his daughters, watching them breathe easier, their little hands unclenching in sleep. For the first time in years, they woke with energy, asking for breakfast, wanting to play, begging Alina to read them stories. Ethan approached Alina one morning on the terrace, where she was helping the girls draw. The dawn light made him look softer, younger, almost vulnerable. "You saved them," he said quietly, his voice cracking. "You saw what the world's best couldn't." Alina shook her head. "I just paid attention," she replied. "Love makes you notice things science sometimes misses." But Ethan wasn't done. Guilt ate at him day and night. He called the twins' doctors, demanding explanations, accountability, anything that made sense. Yet the truth remained, the only person who truly saw the twins was the one no one thought to ask. And slowly, that truth changed something in Ethan. He began spending more time with his daughters, discovering how their laughter sounded different now, fuller, brighter, fearless. He discovered they loved coloring more than toys, and that they preferred sitting in Alina's lap during story time rather than on the expensive designer cushions he had bought. The mansion felt warmer. Life returned. Hope returned. And something unexpected blossomed in Ethan, a feeling he didn't dare name yet, but one that moved him every time he saw the twins cling to Alina like she was their son. Months later, when the East Wing was fully repaired and the twins were declared completely healthy, Ethan hosted a quiet dinner for the three most important people in his life. The girls sat beside Alina, feeding her cake, while Ethan watched from across the table. He knew then that the real miracle wasn't the solution, it was the woman who had brought light back into his daughters' lives. At the end of the night, as the twins slept peacefully and Alina prepared to leave, Ethan stopped her at the door. "This family isn't whole without you," he said softly. "You didn't just save my daughters, you saved me." Tears filled Alina's eyes, and for the first time, Ethan saw the strength and softness of someone who had carried burdens he would never understand. But beyond emotions, beyond gratitude, beyond unspoken feelings, there was a truth viewers could feel deep in their hearts. Sometimes angels don't come with wings, they come dressed as nannies, whispering truths the world refuses to hear. And if this story touched your heart, if you felt the power of love, courage, and intuition, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, because more life-changing stories like this are coming your way, stories that will inspire you, move you, and remind you that sometimes the smallest observations can save the biggest lives. Subscribe now, join the family, and never miss a story that could change the way you see the world.